The galactic threat. In a galaxy full of advanced civilizations, a new threat emerged that shook the very foundations of power. The alien empire, known for its ruthless expansion and technological prowess, had developed a terrifying weapon, the mind control beam. This beam was feared across the galaxy because it had the power to bend entire populations to its will, turning once free beings into obedient servants of the alien empire. The alien empire's mind control beam was first demonstrated on a small, isolated human colony on the fringe of known space. The beam was unleashed with ruthless precision, and within moments, the colony fell under alien control. The inhabitants, once free and independent, were now reduced to mindless drones, carrying out the Empire's orders without question. The sight of this new weapon's effectiveness spread fear among other human colonies and beyond. As news of the mind control beam's success reached various human governments, panic began to set in. The beam was not just a new weapon, it was a potential game changer that could shift the balance of power in favor of the alien empire. Faced with this dire threat, human leaders were forced to confront the reality that they were now in a desperate fight for survival. Among those responding to this crisis was a team of top scientists and military strategists, led by Dr. Elena Carter and Colonel James Hargrave. Dr. Carter was a renowned expert in alien technologies, while Colonel Hargrave was a seasoned officer with extensive experience in interstellar conflicts. Together, they were tasked with understanding the mind control beam and finding a way to counteract its effects. In their headquarters, the team worked tirelessly, poring over data and analyzing the beam's impact. The initial findings were grim. The beam seemed invincible, capable of overriding the strongest minds and turning them into compliant puppets. The implications were terrifying. If left unchecked, the mind control beam could lead to the complete subjugation of humanity. The team faced a daunting challenge. They knew that the key to countering the beam lay in understanding its technology and finding a way to shield or protect human minds from its influence. As they delved deeper into their research, they realized that they were racing against time. The alien empire was not going to wait for them to catch up. They needed to act quickly to develop a defense or countermeasure before the beam could be used against more colonies. Dr. Carter and Colonel Hargrave were determined not to let fear paralyze them. Instead, they used it as fuel to drive their efforts. They set up a series of experiments and simulations to test possible solutions, working around the clock to find a breakthrough. Every moment counted as they pushed the boundaries of their knowledge and technology. As they worked, the sense of urgency grew. The alien empire's mind control beam was not just a weapon, it was a symbol of their technological superiority and their willingness to use it to dominate others. Humanity had faced many threats before, but this was different. The mind control beam was a direct challenge to their freedom and independence. In the midst of this turmoil, the human team held on to a glimmer of hope. They knew that if they could find a way to resist or neutralize the mind control beam, it would not only save countless lives, but also restore confidence in humanity's ability to overcome even the most formidable challenges. The fate of many depended on their success, and they were determined to rise to the occasion. The first contact. The crisis was escalating as the alien empire's mind control beam continued to wreak havoc across human colonies. The galaxy watched in horror as more outposts fell under the beam's influence. Now, it was clear that the alien empire was preparing to use the mind control beam on larger, more strategic targets. The human team, led by Dr. Elena Carter and Colonel James Hargrave, was racing against time. They needed to understand the beam's workings quickly, or humanity might be lost. The beam's devastating power was on display when it was used in a public demonstration on a small, well-guarded human research station located on a remote planet. The research station, known for its cutting-edge scientific projects, had been chosen by the aliens for its high-profile status. The station's personnel were skilled scientists and engineers who were engaged in critical research. When the mind control beam was activated, the result was immediate and horrifying. The beam's pulsating energy engulfed the station, and within seconds, its inhabitants fell under the aliens' control. Dr. Carter and Colonel Hargrave watched the footage from the demonstration, their faces grim. The station's control center, once bustling with activity, was now eerily silent except for the muffled commands of the alien overseers. The mind control beam had turned the station's staff into mere puppets, carrying out orders without hesitation. This demonstration served as a chilling reminder of the beam's effectiveness and the dire situation facing humanity. Despite the overwhelming evidence of the beam's power, a small group of researchers from the station managed to escape the immediate effects of the control beam. These survivors, who had somehow resisted the beam's influence, were rescued by a covert extraction team sent by the human military. They were brought back to the human headquarters where Dr. Carter and Colonel Hargrave interviewed them to gather crucial information. The survivors described their experience in detail. They had felt an invasive force attempting to penetrate their minds, but something had allowed them to resist. It wasn't clear why some people were more resistant than others, but their testimonies provided the human team with valuable insights. The survivors' accounts revealed that while the beam was effective, it was not perfect. There were vulnerabilities in its design that could potentially be exploited. With this new information, Dr. Carter and her team began to develop a strategy to counter the mind control beam. They worked on a theoretical model to create a protective shield against the beam's effects. Their goal was to find a way to block or mitigate the beam's influence, hoping to turn the tide in humanity's favor. Colonel Hargrave also began planning military operations to protect key human colonies from further attacks. He knew that the success of their countermeasures depended not only on technological solutions, but also on effective defense strategies. The threat was imminent, and every decision mattered. As the human team worked tirelessly, the situation outside grew more desperate. The alien empire was preparing for a major offensive, aiming to use the mind control beam on a critical human stronghold. The countdown had begun, and humanity's ability to resist was on the line. Dr. Carter and Colonel Hargrave faced mounting pressure. They knew that their efforts were humanity's last hope. The experiments and plans were crucial, but so was the morale of their people. The fear of the mind control beam had begun to spread, affecting public sentiment and creating uncertainty among the human population. Despite the odds, the human team remained determined. They were driven by the knowledge that their work could make the difference between defeat and survival. As they continued their research and preparations, they held on to the belief that they could overcome the threat posed by the mind control beam and protect their world from the alien empire's domination. The unexpected transformation, as the tension between the human forces and the alien empire reached its peak. Dr. Elena Carter and Colonel James Hargrave were making progress on their countermeasures. Despite their tireless efforts, they were still struggling to develop an effective defense against the mind control beam. Time was running out, and the threat of further attacks loomed large. One day, while conducting a series of advanced tests with the mind control beam in a secure laboratory, an unexpected breakthrough occurred. During an experiment, a malfunction caused the beam to interact with a human test subject in an unforeseen way. Instead of succumbing to the mind control, the subject experienced a radical transformation. The subject, a young volunteer named Alex, began to exhibit extraordinary abilities. His strength increased dramatically, his reflexes became superhuman, and he even developed telepathic skills. The beam, rather than merely controlling his mind, had somehow altered his entire physiology and brain functions. The unexpected result was startling. The mind control beam was making Alex and a few others significantly stronger and more powerful. Dr. Carter and her team were astonished. They quickly realized that Alex was not an isolated case. Other test subjects who had been exposed to the beam under controlled conditions showed similar enhancements. It became clear that the beam had triggered a series of genetic and neurological changes, turning ordinary humans into evolvers with remarkable abilities. As the team continued to investigate, they discovered that the mind control beam was capable of amplifying certain latent traits in humans. Instead of merely enforcing obedience, it had catalyzed an evolution of sorts, bringing out hidden potentials and granting new powers. The emergence of these evolvers presented both opportunities and challenges. The newly enhanced humans were not only stronger and more resilient, but also had heightened mental capabilities. They could communicate telepathically, share information instantaneously, and coordinate their actions with precision. These new abilities made them a formidable force against the alien empire. The human government recognized the potential of the Evolvers and decided to deploy them in the upcoming battles. The plan was to use these enhanced individuals to counteract the alien threat and protect key strategic locations. The Evolvers would become the vanguard of humanity's defense, leveraging their new powers to turn the tide of the conflict. Training began immediately. The Evolvers underwent rigorous physical and mental conditioning to master their new abilities. Dr. Carter, Colonel Hargrave, and a team of experts worked closely with them to develop combat strategies and ensure they could use their powers effectively in the field. The training was intense, but the Evolvers were motivated by their newfound strengths and the chance to make a difference. Public reaction to the Evolvers was mixed. While many were hopeful and excited about the new capabilities, others were fearful and uncertain about the implications. The changes brought by the mind control beam had transformed not only the individuals, but also the perception of human capabilities. The Evolvers became symbols of hope and fear, embodying both the potential for salvation and the unknown risks of their new powers. Dr. Carter and Colonel Hargrave faced the challenge of integrating these enhanced humans into their military operations. They knew that the Evolvers' success would be crucial in the battles to come, and their ability to harness their new strengths effectively would determine the outcome of the conflict. As the preparations continued, the sense of urgency grew. The alien empire was not standing idle. It was adapting its strategies and preparing for the next phase of the assault. The human team had to act quickly, using every advantage they had gained from the unexpected transformation of the mind control beam to counter the alien threat and secure their future. With the Evolvers ready for action, humanity stood on the brink of a new chapter in the conflict. The unexpected twist had given them a fighting chance, and they were determined to use their newfound strength to protect their world and overcome the formidable enemy that sought to dominate them. The internal struggle. As the war with the alien empire continued, the Evolvers had become an integral part of humanity's defense. Their enhanced abilities had given them the upper hand in numerous battles, but behind the scenes, they faced a different kind of struggle, one that threatened their unity and effectiveness. This was the internal struggle, a conflict that arose from their very transformation. Dr. Elena Carter and Colonel James Hargrave noticed that despite their success on the battlefield, the Evolvers were struggling with the psychological and emotional impacts of their new powers. The enhancements had made them stronger, faster, and more resilient, but they had also introduced new challenges. The mind control beam had not only altered their physical and mental capabilities, but had also left them with complex emotional issues. The psychological toll, the Evolvers, now equipped with extraordinary abilities, found themselves grappling with intense internal conflicts. The mental enhancements had amplified their emotions, making them more susceptible to feelings of doubt, fear, and anxiety. This psychological toll was evident in their behavior and interactions. Some Evolvers experienced heightened aggression, while others struggled with depression and feelings of isolation. The telepathic abilities, while useful for communication and coordination, also created a sense of invasion of privacy. The constant sharing of thoughts and emotions led to misunderstandings and conflicts among the Evolvers. Personal boundaries, once clearly defined, became blurred, resulting in a sense of vulnerability and discomfort. The strain of leadership, Colonel Hargrave observed that leading the Evolvers was becoming increasingly challenging. The internal struggles of the team members were affecting their performance and cohesion. The pressure of leadership was intense, and Hargrave found himself having to address not only strategic issues, but also the emotional well-being of his team. Dr. Carter, too, faced difficulties in managing the psychological impacts of the enhancements. Her role in supporting the Evolvers had become more complex, requiring her to provide not only scientific guidance but also emotional support. She worked closely with the Evolvers to help them understand and manage their feelings, but the process was slow and fraught with difficulties. Interpersonal conflicts. The internal struggles led to increased interpersonal conflicts among the Evolvers. Differences in opinion on how to use their powers, combined with heightened emotions, created tensions within the group. Disagreements became more frequent, and the sense of camaraderie that had once united them began to fray. One particular conflict involved two Evolvers, Marcus and Lily, who had always been close allies. Their differing views on the use of their telepathic abilities led to a heated argument. Marcus believed in using their powers aggressively to end the conflict quickly, while Lily advocated for a more cautious approach, focusing on protecting civilians and minimizing collateral damage. Their disagreement escalated, and their once solid partnership began to deteriorate. The quest for normalcy amid the chaos, the Evolvers began to yearn for a sense of normalcy. The transformation had brought them extraordinary abilities, but it had also stripped away the simplicity of their previous lives. Some Evolvers tried to reconnect with their pasts, seeking solace in old routines and relationships. However, their new powers and the experiences of war had created a chasm between their old selves and their current identities. The desire for normalcy became a driving force for some Evolvers. They sought to find a balance between their enhanced capabilities and their need for personal stability. This quest led to moments of reflection and introspection as they tried to reconcile their new reality with their former lives. Efforts to address the issues. Recognizing the gravity of the situation, Dr. Carter and Colonel Hargrave initiated programs to address the internal struggles of the Evolvers. Psychological counseling was introduced, and support groups were formed to help the Evolvers share their experiences and support each other. The goal was to create a safe space where they could express their emotions and work through their issues together. Training sessions were adjusted to include mental resilience exercises and team-building activities. These efforts aimed to strengthen the bonds between the Evolvers and improve their overall cohesion. Dr. Carter also encouraged the Evolvers to engage in activities that promoted relaxation and mental well-being, such as meditation and creative pursuits. Finding strength in unity. Despite the challenges, the Evolvers began to find strength in their unity. Through their shared struggles and experiences, they developed a deeper understanding and empathy for each other. The support programs and counseling sessions helped them build trust and improve communication. Slowly, the internal conflicts began to subside, and the Evolvers started to function as a more cohesive unit. They learned to manage their enhanced emotions and use their powers more effectively as a team. The internal struggle, while arduous, ultimately forged a stronger bond among the Evolvers, making them more resilient and effective in their fight against the alien empire. As the war continued, the Evolvers faced new challenges, but their ability to navigate their internal struggles gave them an edge. They understood that their true strength lay not only in their physical and mental enhancements, but also in their ability to overcome their personal conflicts and support each other. The internal struggle had become a defining aspect of their journey, shaping their growth and preparing them for the battles that lay ahead. The final pushes. The war between humanity and the alien empire reached its climax. The pressure on the Evolvers intensified. The alien forces, now more desperate than ever, launched a massive offensive aimed at crushing human resistance once and for all. The stakes were higher than ever, and the final push to secure victory was at hand. The alien offensive, the alien empire, realizing the formidable challenge posed by the Evolvers, mobilized its most powerful fleets for a decisive attack. Their target was the heart of human resistance, Earth itself. The aliens sought to deliver a crippling blow that would demoralize humanity and force a surrender. The attack was planned to be swift and overwhelming, aiming to catch the human forces off guard. The initial wave of the assault was brutal. Alien ships, equipped with advanced weaponry and shield generators, launched a series of coordinated strikes on major human cities and military installations. The sheer scale of the attack was staggering, and the alien forces aimed to break through human defenses before a counterstrike could be organized. The human response, in response to the alien offensive, the Evolvers were deployed to lead the defense efforts. Colonel James Hargrave and Dr. Elena Carter understood that this battle would determine the outcome of the war. The Evolvers, having faced internal struggles and overcome numerous challenges, were now more determined than ever to protect humanity. The Evolvers' enhanced abilities were put to the ultimate test. They coordinated their efforts to repel the alien invasion, focusing on critical areas where the alien attacks were the most intense. Their telepathic communication allowed them to anticipate and counter alien movements, while their physical enhancements enabled them to withstand and repel the onslaught. The turning point. The battle reached a turning point when the Evolvers executed a daring counteroffensive. Utilizing their advanced strategic skills and newfound confidence, they launched a series of precision strikes against key alien command ships. The goal was to disrupt the alien command structure and create confusion within their ranks. One particularly daring mission involved a small team of Evolvers infiltrating an alien command ship. Led by Lieutenant Sarah Grant, the team used their enhanced agility and stealth abilities to bypass security and plant explosive charges in the ship's control center. The successful detonation of the charges crippled the alien command structure, causing widespread confusion and chaos among the alien forces. The human resilience. As the battle raged on, the human forces demonstrated remarkable resilience. Despite the overwhelming odds, they refused to yield. The combined efforts of the Evolvers and the regular military units created a formidable defense. Human soldiers fought bravely, using their knowledge of the terrain and their familiarity with alien tactics to their advantage. The support from Earth's civilians also played a crucial role. The entire planet united in their support for the military effort, providing resources, information, and morale support. The solidarity among humans, combined with the Evolvers' enhanced capabilities, became a driving force in the fight against the alien empire. The final assault, with the alien command structure in disarray and their forces reeling from the counter-offensive, the time came for the final push. The Evolvers, now fully mobilized and operating at peak efficiency, led a massive assault on the remaining alien fleets. Their mission was to deliver a decisive blow that would force the alien empire to surrender. The final battle was fierce and intense. The Evolvers, utilizing their full range of abilities, engaged in high-stakes combat with the alien forces. Their enhanced strength, speed, and telepathic coordination proved to be game-changers. The alien fleets, already weakened by previous attacks, struggled to mount an effective defense. In a dramatic showdown, the Evolvers faced the alien fleet's flagship. This massive vessel was the heart of the alien offensive, and its destruction would signify the end of the conflict. The Evolvers, led by Colonel Hargrave and Dr. Carter, executed a daring assault on the flagship. Their combined abilities and strategic brilliance led to the successful breach of the ship's defenses. The aftermath, the destruction of the alien flagship, marked the beginning of the end for the alien offensive. The remaining alien forces, demoralized and disorganized, began to retreat. The human victory was hard-won, but it was a turning point in the war. In the aftermath of the battle, the Evolvers were hailed as heroes. Their courage, resilience, and strategic brilliance had played a pivotal role in securing humanity's survival. The final push had tested their limits, but it had also proven their strength and determination. Dr. Carter and Colonel Hargrave, reflecting on the conflict, understood that the victory was not just about defeating the alien empire, but also about the growth and unity of humanity. The war had forged a new era of cooperation and strength, and the Evolvers had been at the forefront of that transformation. As the dust settled and the alien threat was pushed back, humanity began to, of the Evolvers would inspire future generations. The battle was over, but the lessons learned and the strength gained would guide humanity in the years to come. A new era, the war with the alien empire, had come to an end, and humanity emerged victorious. The final battle had been intense and costly, but the combined efforts of the Evolvers and the rest of humanity had secured a hard-won peace. As the dust settled, Earth and its allies faced anew the rebuilding effort. With the alien threat now a thing of the past, the immediate focus was on rebuilding the devastated cities and restoring normalcy. Major urban centers had suffered extensive damage during the alien invasion, and the task of reconstruction was enormous. Teams of engineers, architects, and laborers worked tirelessly to repair infrastructure and rebuild homes. The goal was not just to restore what was lost, but to improve and modernize the cities to better withstand future threats. The military played a crucial role in the rebuilding effort. Many soldiers, having fought bravely on the front lines, transitioned to roles in construction and logistics. Their experience in organization and teamwork proved invaluable in coordinating the massive reconstruction projects. The sense of unity and purpose that had defined their wartime efforts now guided them in the task of rebuilding their world. The evolution of the Evolvers, having demonstrated their extraordinary abilities during the war, were now seen as symbols of human resilience and strength. Their enhanced capabilities had made a significant impact on the conflict, and they were recognized for their contributions. However, the end of the war brought new challenges for them as well. The Evolvers were faced with the task of adapting to their new roles in a peacetime society. Their enhanced abilities, while invaluable during the war, required careful integration into civilian life. Dr. Elena Carter and Colonel James Hargrave worked closely with the Evolvers to help them transition from combat to more peaceful endeavors. The Evolvers were given opportunities to contribute to society in various ways, from scientific research to community service. Dr. Carter continued her research into the effects of the mind control beam and sought ways to optimize the Evolvers' abilities for peaceful applications. The Evolvers became involved in projects aimed at advancing technology and improving quality of life. Their enhanced skills were used to tackle complex problems and drive innovation. The rise of a new government. In the wake of the war, there was a need for a new approach to governance. The alien conflict had highlighted the strengths and weaknesses of the existing political systems, and there was a push for reform. Leaders from around the world came together to form a new coalition government, one that would focus on collaboration and unity. The new government aimed to foster international cooperation and prevent future conflicts. The coalition worked on establishing diplomatic relations with other species and forging alliances to ensure mutual protection. The lessons learned from the war influenced the new policies, emphasizing the importance of preparedness and mutual support. The Evolvers were given advisory roles in the new government, using their experiences and insights to shape policies and strategies. Their unique perspective helped guide the formation of the integration of alien technology. The remnants of the alien technology, recovered during the war, presented both opportunities and challenges. The advanced technology offered the potential for significant advancements in science and industry. However, it also required careful handling and integration to ensure it was used responsibly. A special task force was established to study and integrate alien technology. Scientists and engineers, including some of the Evolvers, worked on deciphering the alien systems and adapting them for human use. This process involved overcoming technical challenges and addressing ethical considerations. The integration of alien technology led to breakthroughs in various fields, including energy production, transportation, and medicine. The new innovations improved the quality of life and contributed to the advancement of human civilization. However, the task force remained vigilant to ensure that the technology was used safely and did not pose any new threats. The legacy of the war. As the new era began, the legacy of the war remained a powerful reminder of the sacrifices made and the strength demonstrated. Memorials were erected to honor those who had fallen and to commemorate the courage of the Evolvers and the soldiers. These memorials served as symbols of hope and resilience, reminding future generations of the cost of freedom and the importance of unity. The stories of the war, including the heroic actions of the Evolvers, were shared through various media. Documentaries, books, and films captured the experiences of T. With the war behind them, humanity looked to the future with hope and determination. The challenges of rebuilding and adapting were met with optimism and a commitment to progress. The new era was marked by a sense of possibility and the desire to create a better world. The Evolvers, now integrated into society, continued to contribute their unique skills and knowledge. They became role models and mentors, guiding the next generation and inspiring them to strive for excellence. The legacy of their bravery and innovation shaped the future, influencing the direction of human development. As Earth entered this new chapter, the lessons of the war served as a foundation for growth and collaboration. The struggles and triumphs of the past paved the way for a future where humanity was stronger, more united, and better prepared for whatever challenges lay ahead. The final chapter of the war had ended, but the story of human resilience and the pursuit of a better future continued to unfold.